Hey everybody, it's been a while. Figure I'd give you an update what's going on. I've been messing with this D64, even though it's made for the earlier odd angle small bolt 273 engine. I'm going to put it on my 360. I'm not going to grind on it on the outside, so it could still be used on the early heads for someone else. But these are more available because they're less popular because of the small bolt and odd angle, even though it's taking these normal size bolts just fine. And now it hasn't been drilled out. What I did here, you can see I put some red dicom on here, and I just want to show you something. Depending on where this gasket sits, or more or less really where the intake sits, if it's riding high on your cylinder heads, these 360 gaskets, actually you can't see it from here, but when they're up against here and they're hanging on the bolt, there is just a little bit showing right here and right underneath here. And while this is showing more than this side, nothing new, because these aren't cast perfect. These are stamped pretty much perfect every time. I mean, it's just fabric. This is molten metal when they're made. I want to show you something. If you just center them up a little bit, and you do like this, you see the bolt holes are pretty much dead on. It did run a scribe line here. Now this is all going to be dependent on how it sits on top of the block in the heads. You should do this for any intake manifold, especially when you're port matching it. Just because you gasket match it doesn't mean this is going to match up to the gasket and the cylinder head. But just so you know, and just so you could see, I'll bring you in. You actually have some room where you could do some porting. This line here, the lower one, if you can actually see the difference, is right where the gasket ended when it was centered around this hole. And up top here, it barely made a scribe mark. So if your intake sits low, you're not going to be able to go higher. And this is too high. Over here, we can see how wide you can go. And over on this port, you can see how low you can go. And these lines represent the gasket that I just had up. And this is an Edelbrock gasket, 7276. Let me put you back down a second. This is about where you were. Hope it looks reasonable. So it's possible, however, it may not be easy or likely, that you could actually gasket match this and put this intake manifold out to match up to the gasket, and you can use it on your 340, 360 head, or even your Edelbrock head, or any aftermarket head pretty much, because they have the larger ports. They're not gasket sized out of the box, except for the trick flows. I think the trick flows are really close to gasket matched. I just figured I'd show you that. And swing this around, show you the linkage. Let me make sure you're in camera. Yeah, pretty much. Let me move you closer and up. All right. And here's the linkage. It's set up on progressive. Edelbrock says it opens up about 20% on the primary carburetor, which would be this one here. And then when that plastic lock collar slides back, then it opens up. And because it's on the lower hole, you're getting more of a throw than you would on the top hole over here. You put it up in the larger hole for the one-to-one action, which is very throttle responsive. This one here, that's about 20%. I don't know if I can get inside here. Thought about this too late. Should think more before I do a video. All right, that's not too bad. right, opens up that much. And then the other side opens up. I would definitely recommend having a second set of hands while setting that up, because it is just a pain in the ass to stretch your fingers across and then adjust it with the Allen wrench on the other side. And it's just a little one that they want you to use. It's a 332, and this one is the fourth one down, so 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a 532 for these here. The instructions aren't really very clear. The picture is reasonable, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. You know, it's black and white, but you know, let's keep it cheap, right? Why color it? The instructions are kind of like someone's telling you real fast. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Well, most of my viewers are 45 plus, up to 65, and I'm sure you've been down this route. And if you haven't, just have a friend so they can pull these open like this for you. So you get this all the way. That's all the way. This is all the way. Put your adjustment right here. And, oops. Okay, it's not fully adjusted. Great. I loosened it just to show you guys. But this will slide back and forth and work like that. I have this, well, I had a similar setup. It was another intake and a pair of 600 Edelbrocks on my 73 Cuda 360 in one of my earlier videos like 10 years ago. My buddy Mike was setting it up for me. He's like, oh, let me play with it. I'm like, sure, let's go. And he started messing with it. Idle was high, but you know, he does a quick operation where he whacks the throttle a few times. Speaking of which, this Mopar throttle adapter is usually somewhere around here. I don't know if I could easily use it here and still actually kind of have an automatic transmission kickdown working at the same time, because this return spring kind of gets in the way. And I don't know, you know, the you know, for like a low car cable and like the factory cable, these Allen heads are very short. They did give you a longer one, which is very long, has a shoulder. I guess you could use this in place of the shorter one. You'll have to get creative. But if you want a one-to-one, just take this one, use this backing in here. It's the flat one. Comes with 2 flats and 2 that are conical. The conicals go on the outside, so it has a little non-binding factor here. Yeah, I guess that's about it for this. I'm not too crazy about these here. I don't think anybody is really. They do work. This one kind of pings. Watch. Bing. Doesn't really get in the way. And you'll have to bend this one just to clear here. And this one is barely clearing as it is. It's probably less than a 1/4 inch, greater than 1/8 of an inch, but it works. It works fine. I guess if you really wanted to, still set up a piece here and rig something up over here to latch on the bottom, spring from here to here. I don't know. I didn't really think about it. But that's how you set it up for a progressive. A little now, a little more, and then a whole freaking lot. These are a pair of 650 ABS 2s. I think it'll be more than enough for a 360. It's a lot of CFM, but the intake's only going to allow so much. And there you have it. So, my only complaint about this whole thing was in the instructions, they said the aluminum collar. My original kit, this black plastic piece here under my thumb was aluminum. Now it's plastic. They didn't change the instructions. Why should they? This rod, which slides on the bottom, did bind up. It was just a hair. These brass blocks were a hair too small in their drill size, so I just went to the next size. I went to the letter O, and it it was still a little touchy, so I went to the next size up, which was the standard size. I didn't write it down. Whatever size is after O. And there you have it. What do you think? Let me know. Looks pretty cool, right? All right. See you in the next video.